Are you tired of getting destroyed every single time you walk on the site? Well, maybe it's time you start making the enemy POV look something like this.
Hey, you're finally awake.
But in all seriousness, let's go ahead and take a look at entry flashes for every single bomb site for Counter-Strike 2. But before we get into all that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Skins Monkey. So, Skins Monkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code CSTactics on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. So now let's go ahead and get started with the A site on Ancient. So one flash you're going to see Donk throw all the time as he's entering out onto the site is he's going to just look up towards the top left of this box right here towards this stone wall. He's going to take a few steps with his flashbang and release to where that thing is going to land on the backside of this box and not blind his teammates as they're running out, but it is going to full blind any of the CTs set up in a position like this. And it'll also get any of the T's holding front donut just like this. Now moving on over to the B-bomb site, I've shown this flash off a bunch of times on the channel. It's definitely my favorite flash for this site is you go right here into this X and you're gonna go from the bottom of this B all the way over to this little stain on the wall. So just right here, I use the bottom of the B as a reference, but you can just kind of go towards the bottom right and it'll work just fine. Just do a simple jump throw right here. And that flash is gonna land on the backside of this little stone thing, the stone pillar, and it's not gonna full blind your teammates. And the great part about it is it's going to catch pretty much every single one of the common angles on site, whether they're, right inside the cave entrance, back here on short, it's going to absolutely destroy them. A nice flash to pair up with that is if you go right here to this little cross on the box and do a simple jump throw, that's going to go on the other side of this wall. And as your teammates are up close here, well, it's not going to blind them, but it's going to catch any of the angles that this flash does not. Such as if someone's hugging this right wall to where they're not able to see this little pillar here, right? This flash is going to come up and destroy them without much time to react whatsoever. And same if someone's back here in cave, right? Kind of on the deep angle here. If they're backed up all the way where they can't really see this pillar, well, that flash is going to come up here and nuke them as well. Same with someone all the way into this cubby, right? They're also going to have to turn from this or get absolutely demolished. Moving on to Anubis, if you get stuck into this corner right here and count 1, 2, 3 dots over and do a simple left click throw, well, that flash is going to go through this window and it's going to blind almost every single one of the common angles on site without any time to react whatsoever. And now moving on over to the B side, I would say the best flash to throw as your teammates are entering is if you go right in the middle of this door right here and you just do a simple left click throw right here at the top of this window. That's going to go straight up here towards the very top of the entrance, and it's not going to blind your teammates as they're running out unless you catch an insane timing. And the best part about that is it gets pretty much every single one of the common positions on site, as you can see here. So now let's take a look at the A site for Inferno. This is a flash that I learned from Team Liquid back in 2019, and it still works great in CS2. So generally the best way to line this up is you're going to go right here into this door frame, and you're going to look down at this darker portion here. I guess it's this concreted in door. I'm not really sure what you would call that, but just right in the middle of there. You don't have to be too precise as to where you're aiming. I just go towards the center, and I'm going to do a run jump throw right before I hit this corner of the building. So I'm just going to go right here and do a run jump throw. And so this is designed to go to where it lands on top of this default plant box to where it does not full blind your teammates, right? It's going to half wipe them and it's not fantastic. So still ideally they're going to turn from this, but what it's for is you're not going to throw this, as the first man up. You're going to have your teammates set up, moving up towards lane. Maybe you've got a front truck smoke like this or something like that where they don't have to worry about pit. And so it's a really good flash to entry onto site in this fashion, right? So you're just aiming here, you're going right here, you're throwing this flash, your teammates are running up with this flash, peeking up onto site. It's going to full blind this position without hardly any time to react. And it's also going to get pretty much every other angle, any of the common angles back here on site, even Moto or an Opera holding this angle. So it's a really good flash. They can hear it, they can see it coming, but it's a really good one to throw a couple of as your team's running up because again, it's nice and safe. It's not going to blind them as they're pushing. And now moving on over to the B-bomb site, one of my favorite variations of the God Flash was found by Austin CS recently. You're going to go right here into this corner and you're going to do a simple left click throw at the very bottom of this window right here. That flash is going to go all the way over here on the other side of this corner and it's not going to blind your teammates as they run up, but it's going to absolutely obliterate pretty much every single one of the common positions back here on site. Another super cool flash that I found watching an Astralis demo, this is actually one that I like to call the device flash because he's the first person I saw using it, is you're going to go right here into the middle of this little metal door, and at the very bottom right of this B, there's a little black dot, and if you do a jump throw right into that, this flash is going to go on the bottom of this little fenced-in balcony, and it's not going to blind your teammates as they're running up, but it's going to absolutely destroy, yet again, all of these common positions on site. Now moving on over to Mirage, while it's very hard to go wrong with the good old-fashioned lamp flash, this one is going to pretty much get every single angle that you would want it to, especially anyone sitting close outside of A main. Another fantastic variation of this flash is if you go right here onto this flat corner and you do a jump throw at the top right of this part of the building. And that's going to do pretty much the exact same thing as the other flash. It's still going to blind someone right here, but it's also going to get someone even if they're holding a very tight angle right here from default. And onto the B site for the most well-rounded entry flash, you're just going to want to aim towards the very bottom of this little window here and line yourself up with this post all the way along the back wall. Aim towards the bottom of this and do a run, jump throw right before you hit the post, and that's going to go super deep here. So it's not only going to blind anyone back here on bench, as you can see, it's also going to get anyone down here playing close without hardly any time to react, and it's also going to catch anyone back here without hardly any time to react. Very good flash. It gets a lot of the very common angles on site, and it's a lot better than just throwing one right over because that's not really going to get anyone towards Van, and it's also not going to get anyone if they're playing close bench. You definitely want that thing to go really high and really far. Moving on over to Nuke, after you break out the glass, my favorite entry flash for my A players is whenever I'm standing along the side of this little metal covering, and I'm going to do a jump throw right here at this little divot up from the yellow fence. I'll just do a simple jump throw right there, and that flash is going to pop down right behind the silos here. It's not going to blind my teammates as they're pushing out, but it's going to absolutely obliterate anyone up in heaven or anyone playing back on site in any of these common positions. It's a really good one to pair up as your teammates are popping out. Now moving on over to the B-bomb site, there just aren't a lot of good pieces of utility for this site because it's indoors and there's just not good geometry to get flashes in for your team. However, if you want some pretty cool style points, if you go right here into this corner and you left click a flash at the bottom left of this little sign, you can open the door right before the flash bounces off that wall and ends up out there to blind any of the enemies. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like right now. You just have to time it right, pop out, and boom, destroy this player right here. Now he may have a little bit of time to react from that thing, but he's probably not going to expect a flash popping out the second he hears that door open, and you're definitely going to have an advantage in the fight because if he's not eating that flash, he's probably going to have his back turned to the wall and you can staple him right to it. And now moving on to Overpass, the best entry flash for the A site is definitely by going right here along Divider and doing a jump throw at the top right of this square right here in the bottom center. That's going to go super deep up here over the top of truck, and it's not going to blind your teammates as they're running up until they get super far up, but it is going to blind any of the CTs in any of the common positions on the back of site. Since most people already know the flash where you just stand right here in this area and just do a simple left click throw either up onto this side here or just up over on this way to where it's going to full blind anyone set up either on Toxic or close up here, right? These flashes are pretty solid. However, a lesser known flash is whenever you're doing a pop from short here, you can go right here into this corner and do a jump throw at the very top of this railing right here. That's going to go on the other side of this fence and not blind your teammates as they run up, but it's going to full blind anyone here on Toxic or anyone set up over here towards Graffiti. And now moving on over to Vertigo, one of my favorite flashes for an A site entry is by going right here into this corner along the sandbags and doing a jump throw towards the right side of this little brick here. And that's going to go on the opposite side of this steel beam right here, where it's not going to full blind your teammates, but it's going to absolutely obliterate anyone in elevator or any of the common positions around site. Another cool flash you can throw is if you come right here into this corner, you can just go down from this little elbow in the pipe just below this horizontal pipe, so just right here, and do a simple jump throw. And that's going to pop back on the other side of this, and it's not going to blind your teammates as they're coming around here. If they don't peek all the way out, they can actually peek headshot, while headshot is getting fully blinded by that flash. And moving on to B site, the best flash to get your teammates out onto site is by just coming into this corner, especially right after you've thrown all of your utility, and just doing a simple left click towards the top of this little yellow mark on the beam, and that's going to go on the opposite side of this white box. It's not going to blind your teammates, but that flash is going to destroy pretty much every single one of the positions on site without too much time for them to react. Another variation of that is if you go right here and just do a simple left click up above this little yellow circle, it's going to go on the opposite side of this one and not blind your teammates as well, while still having a nice effect for blinding any of the CTs on this side. And finally, to please all the Dust 2 players, we're going to talk about entry flashes for this map as well. So starting off, I feel like most people know just the normal palm tree flash that people throw that just goes right over long doors here and is going to full blind any of the CTs as they're pushing up. But a more fun and more interesting one that I like to throw is whenever I go right behind this car, I'll crouch and do a left click at the very bottom middle of the top of this door. This flash is going to go all the way out the doors and it's going to full blind anyone out here even in pit without any reaction time whatsoever. And finally, moving on to B, you can't go wrong with just lobbing one up through this skylight, but you can also aim super high towards this window and do a run throw to where it pops on the backside of this, and it's not going to blind your teammates as they're running out, but anyone up here in window or in backside, well, they're going to get nuked by this thing. So yeah, guys, I hope you learned something new from this video and it helps you out in your next Face It or Premiere match. Anyways, guys, if you have any suggestions for me, leave them down in the comments below because I love making videos that you guys want to see. If you want to support me, click that Skins Monkey link down in the description.